When talking about a show like this, I know many could have some trepidations. Yes, it's a slice of life. Yes, it takes place in high school. Yes, it features a bunch of cute girls. And yes, it's by A1 Pictures. But what is also true is it's quite the enjoyable show. Perhaps something you missed out on, Interviews with Monster Girls is able to combine fun characters with good comedy in an interesting world. Its ability to make the supernatural, or demi-humans as they're called in the show, relatable and realistic is successfully done by all those things I mentioned, and alleviated my fears because usually shows that feature vampires is where I check out. Welcome to the class, all you demi-humans. Get ready for your lesson and how this show is a really good time. Yeah, it's not really a hard class, is it? Interviews with Monster Girls does visual humor exceptionally well. What I like even more is the style of visual humor used by the animators varies for what character a specific style fits best. Hikari, our resident vampire girl, is your overly friendly, audacious loudmouth, so her visual humor is definitely more striking and employs shock comedy with a lot of it. Abrupt changes to outrageous facial expressions that can alter on a whim several times throughout a single conversation. This is something we often see in anime, especially with characters like Hikari, and I'm here to say that they do it very well with her in Monster Girls. I love how, of course, this style of visual comedy works well with the show's most outgoing and expressive character. She's always moving in unique and energetic ways, making scenes with her the most visually interesting and also really fun. She's never allowed to stay still or look normal, and I love it. It's important for a show trying to create a world like this, one populated with demi-humans, to make them believable characters and not boring archetypes of the established precedent. Hikari is a vampire, but her personality isn't vampire, which is huge. She is her own person divorced from that. Being vampiric is only one of many things that affects how she lives her life, like gender, height, or allergies. For example, being a vampire means she can't be in the sun for very long, likes to be cold, and has natural urges of sucking someone's blood. Not for the need of blood, might I add. The government supplies vampires with their own regimented amount of blood each month, which is not only a hilarious detail, but a totally believable one if such people existed. It's just a natural urge that is akin to cracking your knuckles. I don't know if that's the best analogy, whatever, you get the point. The legends inform the traits these demi-humans might have, but the show goes out of the way to make it less fairy tale and more realistic. In the show, vampires aren't killed by garlic, but they have a very strong sense of smell, so things like garlic usually aren't enjoyed by them because it's overstimulating. This is the point the show tries to drill home, maybe too much, but is obviously the important message. Exploring how these extraordinary characteristics of these people feel ordinary to them, and as they integrate with the general public, their dilemmas are commonly misunderstood by the majority. How about a shyer and less expressive character like Machi? Machi is a Dullahan, a headless horseman type, so her head is a separate entity from her body, but is still essentially the same body. This is a design concept for a character I've literally never seen done in this type of setting, a normal girl just going to school living her life. Usually it's some intimidating figure, some supervillain, or just horror story schlock. What do they do with this setup? Some really nice and subtle visual comedy, which perfectly suits her character as a person trying not to stand out, but admittedly, that's pretty difficult when you have a flame bursting from your neck. And the anime's depiction of how one would struggle living with this quirk, maybe not struggle, but how their routines would differ from someone with a neck that has a head attached to it, is an inventive and creative endeavor. She always carries a pillow around to rest her head comfortably, uses her hands as her neck, bends down and puts her phone to her head, hangs it while bathing, have it sleep in its own doghouse, or forget to bring it with you as the train doors close. The little subtle things that are routine for Machi are just really funny and creative imagery. Episode 2 is mainly a Machi introduction episode, and packed to the brim with a ton of these creative uses for a Dolan character. I really love episode 2 of this show. This matching of visual comedy and person really aids in strengthening the characters' personalities and also strengthens their comedy. It's symbiotic. As her character becomes more realized, so does her comedy, and that in turn better realizes the character. That's why this show is so endearing to people who watch it. This show is described as comfy because of how well this dynamic works. Some genuine nice chuckles for some genuinely nice characters. It continues to feed into each other and you soon get attached. And all of them get to work off the straight man of the show, Takahashi-sensei. He is why this show really works. Acting as the main character, we get to see most of the show through the lens of a mature adult. There will be the aside to it, different characters having the focus, but he definitely has a majority. Not only does he have an honest interest in demi-humans in general as a studious endeavor, but also truly cares for these 3 students at the school who are demis themselves. This show has trappings that many high school shows do and can get a little repetitive, But that extra bit of world building, where as a viewer I'm interested in how it functions, having to integrate all these different demi-humans into society and how they would change things, the focus of the show is to explore that, so its setting is a bit more intriguing than your average high school anime. I mean, it's literally called Interviews with Monster Girls, meaning talking to monster girls to learn more about them. Tack on some sweet visual comedy and fun characters and you got a really good time. So there you have it, class. Remember to do your homework, which is to catch up on Interviews with Monster Girls. You are dismissed. Hey! Thanks for watching. You're probably a cool person, so how about subscribing and sharing the video? Oh, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Second Look Games, because there's some more cool videos where this came from and you don't want to miss out. For more Winter 2017 videos, I have two, one on Konosuba and the other on Masamune-kun, and they're both about the unique comedy those shows have, which I guess is apparently all I talk about. I like comedy, alright? Just click them already!